What's up, everybody? I am back with a new Vara Dark reaction video. More info about that. What was it called? Like 1348X Voto. Recent developments have occurred. There's always something with this game. Only fairly recently heard about this game because of Vara Dark. It wasn't really on my radar in terms of gaming news, but it has been getting a lot of jokes at its expense with the whole lesbian knight character. I'm pretty sure the character has a name, but you look at the character, you can tell, like, yeah, lesbian. I'm about to say space knight, lesbian knight kind of thing. But looks like it's lesbian knight game fires social media manager. 1348X Voto socials go dark days before release. So it'll be very interesting to see what this is about. So follow Very Dark on her channel. Leave a like and comment on my channels, YouTube and Twitch, Talking to Carl. And we'll get right into this news. Sorry, shaving bumps. Anyway, see what's going on.
Only a couple of days away from release, and for some reason, they have gone completely silent on their social media, on the Steam forums, and it looks like maybe one of their social media managers got fired, or they just do not want to cause any more backlash. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live stream.
Looks like his Twitter handle directly from Italy, and you wouldn't think they would have put out a game with the backdrop of clearly a medieval setting and have the main character clearly be like a lesbian, a knight no less, and it just seems like, oh God, did like another DEI program infiltrate another development team? Because like, even with your rudimentary understanding of historical time frames, you know good and well that you can let it, like, you can buy there would have been a few women as knights in medieval England, but that's already a small portion. Even I want to say even less, but it's probably, you don't know, but you would imagine it would be even less likely there would also have been lesbians, considering that they're very, medieval England, very like staunch. You think Bible thumpers are crazy, nowadays, but back then pales in comparison to now. They would not have like let it fly with freely out about, like, just openly gay like it would, because they like it would be today. That's the problem with people who don't have any understanding about what kind of story they're trying to tell. Because if they did, they wouldn't. It's like they're trying to apply modern standards to past standards, and those two would naturally clash. And of course, people with casual understanding of history would obviously raise an eyebrow to that. But they trying to rewrite history, or let you think like, this is like something that would have probably carried on, or maybe not on purpose, but they low key trying to get like young kids to look at this thing and think it's like, oh yeah, it's possible, it's perfectly okay. Rewriting history, pretty much, because it's like, if honestly, back then, if you were, I mean, outside of maybe brothels, if you was just out and about in like a, same sex relationship, like by today's standards, back then, uh, there would be problems. I'm getting off track here, but I'm just saying, like, man, it's just like, I don't know. There's creative liberties, but then there's also some semblance of groundedness that you also got to anchor, anchor yourself to.
And consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I'm sure you all remember just a few weeks ago, they were desperate for attention on social media. That is why they caused the drama with the Knight's Path theme. That is why they said, oh, make sure to mark this on your modern agenda. And they were arguing with people on X. That's why they were moderating their Steam forums so heavily, because
This reminds me of the Ghost of Yote thing. And I'm not 100% certain, because unlike Erika Ishiki, the actor for this character for the ex-Voto gang isn't out on social media like, supporting Antifa or anything like that. At least she's like keeping to herself, not making the situation worse for this game. But I imagine, she at least somewhat is like-minded to Erika Ishii. Somewhat. Wouldn't be arrogant to say like all the way through, but it's just that these self-inserts, I want to say, well, I don't even want to call it even a self-insert, because that'll be more so by creative putting themselves into a thing. But in any case, it's just like, it could have been like a cool idea for a game. Nothing wrong with a female-led knight, but you can just tell to a certain degree, either through gameplays or articles or people who's working behind the scenes. You can just tell what kind of product you're gonna get just by pattern recognition from past stuff, where they do certain little bullet points that will ultimately lead to what you've kind of grown over. It's just like this game's yeah, they're getting massive backlash. It's from either one area or a whole different area.
They were desperate for any sort of attention, even if it was negative. So now that we are less than a week away from release and they've gone silent, that seems very suspicious to me. And they've already been silent for a week. It looks like maybe their social media manager got the axe after attacking so many people and causing so much controversy. Maybe because the demo didn't do good, they know that the game's probably not going to do good, and so they are already cutting back their team members. Or maybe
and this seriously is the final design of the character. It just seems like it looks more so like a draft or two away from the finished design, because it doesn't look very polished. That is another issue. I won't say a lot of these games, but certain games have been I think we're starting to get better at it now, or at least the development teams are starting to get better at it with our games. But for a good while, we've been getting a lot of half-assed finished products just for the characters to turn out like this. Feels like a scam.
maybe they have just learned their lesson, but this is when they should actually be marketing their game with gameplay footage, with character teasers and trailers, with artwork. This is when you should be making your final push towards the finish line, and that's not what they're doing. So, taking a look on their X, as you can see, the last thing that they posted was on February 27th, which was already almost a week ago, and that was about the Next Fest demo, or the Steam Next Fest that was going to be ending on March 2nd. So they said you only have a few days left to play the demo, but that's it. That was the last time that they decided to post. Even before that, they had started like backing off of social media because they had posted on the 25th and the 24th and the 23rd. So they were at least posting once a day, but now they are doing that, which is very, very suspicious in my opinion. I personally think that this means that there is something going on behind the scenes. Maybe it's not. Maybe they just have decided, though, that they don't want to cause any more controversy, that they need as many sales as possible, and so they.
You know, to me, it shows lack of confidence in your product. You know, a good example, and this is not a game, but it's more so like a movie, but it can still track. Marlon Wayans very recently made on a social media announcement that instead of like I think it was like June 12th, the new Scary Movie will be coming out a week early, pretty much competing with Masters of the Universe, because they put so much work behind Marlon and the team he's working with. They put so much time behind making that movie that they're so confident they'll release it like a week early. Which is, we get that kind of rare in certain games or movies where it's like, oh my god, we could actually put this out, ahead of time if we wanted to. Usually people push the release date. That's typically the norm. But we get so rare of early release dates. But it shows a lack of confidence in your product that no matter how you feel, we know that the project that we invested our time into, like, no matter what, we know we put out a good product. But, I don't care if, like, there'll be some stragglers that might not enjoy it. The chips will fall where they may. But we who worked on this are so confident that, yeah, we're ready to get this stuff put out. And we're still going to be making announcements and, hyping it up all the way until the release date. 1348, when it comes to this game, isn't sharing that same ethos right now, because deep down they know that they probably didn't really put out a polished game, or just filled with a bunch of modern day activism bullcrap. Now, it's also the fact that there's, other issues, but if they're like confident in their product they're about to put out, they won't care about any of that stuff, because they know that, like, hey, as soon as you play this, I guarantee you will love it. That shows confidence. You not posting after a period into the new year? Oh, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. At the very least, you should, maybe, a week before the release date, you then probably, don't have to post any more stuff on social media. But, yeah, you stop, posting just to avoid any other controversies. Those controversies would have meant nothing if your product was good. So how is anybody supposed to think that you probably put out some slop or made some slop, and now you're afraid how it's going to be received now, where you had plenty of time to course correct? There's like I think GTA 6 recently pushed its release date all the way up until November. That only shows that okay, we probably put some stuff in our game that will be received very poorly because people are getting tired of the woke nonsense. So we better like correct this now while we have the time. So when it comes out, we will have like the big dollar sales. X Voto's gonna, doesn't have that, precious time. So, yeah, this is games like this, or at least development teams behind these games need to understand that if you have this kind of stuff in there because of some activists you got working with you, or some DEI offices that or HR ladies you have working, in your company, you should take what they say either with a grain of salt or kick them the hell out because they don't know crap and they're tanking your company. Like you see this happening with Blizzard, and you're seeing this happen with Ubisoft, especially.
Don't want to cause any more damage to their image, but the problem with that is that they have already done irreparable damage. They can't just magically fix the problems that they have already caused. And to top that off, not only are they silent on their X, but they're also silent on their Steam forums because I've made a couple of videos on it now. They have been moderating this very heavily. They have been locking down threads. They have been banning people. They claim that they're locking down threads because people are going off topic or they're arguing and they're bickering.
Why manually remove that LGTV plus tag? I might have bought it. Why did they take down the demo down? Strong woman. Strong woman. One of the most played demos on Steam Next Fest.
And they basically just don't want people to be having conversations that they deem as negative. But, well, we're going back and going back and going back and going back. And yeah, it was February 27th that they last moderated anything. So it seems that on the 27th, something changed. And that is where a decision was made that they were not going to be posting anymore or causing any more drama. Now, again, we don't know any of the details. It's not like they're going to make a statement on it. And I do think that it is better for them that they do not unfairly ban people from the forums and silence people and lock down discussions. It's completely different from what they were previously doing. Now, as you can see, the Steam demo didn't do very good. You have to disregard the one player because on the second going into the third, the demo was actually taken off of Steam because it was only up for the Steam Next Fest and you can't actually download it anymore. And so like the 6 to 10 people that have been sort of playing it since then are people who already had it downloaded and who can play it because of that, but nobody new can download it. And since it's only a 20-minute long demo, I highly doubt anybody's going back to replay the demo, and nobody new is probably going to be playing it. So yeah, you have to disregard that. But either way, the all-time peak was 167. That is absolutely abysmal. This is one of the worst demos that I have seen in a while. Even games like Relooted knew that they were going to fail, and so they didn't put up a demo because they didn't want to get memed on even harder. But yeah, I mean, nobody played this, and even for the few people that I've actually seen who played the demo and gave it a shot, like myself, for example, did not like the experience. It was bad, it was buggy, it was broken, it was low effort. It feels like a alpha build of a game, and it's shocking that they want to release a game with this awful level of quality when we're talking about a time in the gaming industry when people are looking for a higher level of quality. This is going to be a $30 game. It's nowhere near worth $30 freaking dollars. But judging by the Steam charts, not looking so positive. It's number 282 in top wish lists, number 83 in wishlist activity, and it's got 11,703 followers. And yes, when you see something like number 83 in wishlist activity, you're probably thinking, wow, there's thousands and thousands of games that release on Steam all the time. But the problem with that is wish list does not equal sale. Just because I put a game on a wish list doesn't mean that I am going to monetarily support it. It means I'm interested in following it. Maybe people want to buy it when it goes on sale. It doesn't mean a one-to-one, and neither does the followers. Just because somebody follows something doesn't mean that they're going to swipe their credit card. So I'm curious to see what this game actually launches to. I have been a little bit more optimistic, and I have said about 500 people. I think that at this point that is pretty generous, maybe maximum 700, but I don't see a way that this gets to 1,000, especially when they've gone silent online, they're not marketing it, so they're not keeping their game in the eye of potential customers. And over the next several weeks, there are a lot of other games releasing. We just have Resident Evil 9 launch, which is doing fantastic. Pokemon Pocopia releases tomorrow when I'm uploading this video. It will be on Thursday. You have Crimson Desert coming out soon. You have the Fatal Frame remake. So there's a lot that is supposed to be launching, and a lot of money that people are potentially going to spend. And when you are not marketing your game, it means people are more likely to pre-order or purchase these other experiences and then tell themselves, oh, I forgot about this game, but I'll buy it later down the line.
Yeah, this is one of those games that's probably going to be one in one ear and out the other, because it's not going to leave any impact whatsoever. Because you look at the games that's coming out this year, there's too many good ones, mostly coming from Eastern countries. But this year is stacked with incredible games. So games like, 1348 is going to be like a whisper on the wind. By the time we get towards the end of the year, or at the Game Awards, and they bring, or at least you see the game development team behind 1348, because there's no way this game won't get nominated for anything. But you see the team in the crowds, they know good and darn well, like, their game is not going to be nominated for anything because they have left no impact. The word of mouth is terrible before the game is even released. And it's not a good sign. And at this point, deep down, the head honchos know full well they need to probably cut their losses with this game. Sad as that might sound, because this is such a nothing burger of a game.
Now, like I said before, maybe nothing suspicious is going on. Maybe they just don't want to cause any more backlash, and they don't want people to be pointing and laughing at them and covering their game negatively. But it seems that on February 27th, something happened. Maybe their social media manager was fired. Maybe they were demoted. Maybe they just decided, I don't want to moderate anymore, and they're not doing that. Who really knows? But it seems very, very bad for them that a week before release, they have gone silent online. They're not marketing their game anymore. And really, to me, it just looks like this game is going to come out and be a complete and utter disaster. And I don't think that that is going to shock anybody. And given the state of the industry, there are a million other better games to purchase. So I'll be keeping a close eye on this. I'm probably going to end up streaming this next week because so many of you have asked me and love to meme on me, but none of you guys are going to play it anyway. So I suppose my one purchase is good if 500 people show up to watch it, and we can all roast.
Yeah, I remember having this debate on with a couple of people on Discord about games that, like, because I'm typically critical about certain games out there, and I think the topic was I was like bringing up about Marvel Rivals, and they making like a announcement. Which, now I'm thinking about it, I want to do like a video about it, because it's been like super fun, and I think, oh, I should do a video about this. But they make an announcement for a new, at least this year's upcoming events for the Marvel Rivals game. And I was sitting there boasting and singing the game's praises, and the team behind Marvel Rivals singing their praises. And most of them, like, don't care for, like, games like Marvel Rivals or Overwatch, etc. And I made a joke about like it's far better than like the slop that was Marvel Avengers game, which just got nothing but their stun devils. And some of them were defending it. That's fine. But uh, one of them asked me what's wrong with Marvel's Avengers game, and I put up my points like the character designs, are terrible. Like, they got like the actors stunt doubles because they couldn't legally or afford the likeness of the actual actors, which you clearly wanted them to think of the actors when you played this game, because they are too consumed by the fact that the MCU was super popular and we gotta capitalize off those coattails, but they failed miserably. Then also the gameplay is terrible. Everything is so repetitive. It's not good. But then they told me like been just watching nothing but YouTube videos, and it's like, and told me like I should have played the game myself, because we got on a different topic of a different game that I was critical of. And it's like, did you play the game yourself? I was like, no. Like, I don't need. Nobody really needs to play every single game to fairly judge it. You got articles, you got YouTube, and you got videos of the gameplay. You can make like a fair judgment. Of course, you can be surprised every once in a while, and sure, you should be able to watch or play certain things so you can make a concrete opinion about it. But every once in a while, especially when it comes to Hollywood, you can just pretty much tell, or even though I say Hollywood, but just in game creating spaces, you can just tell by certain things you're seeing that, yeah, I'm not gonna waste my money on this because I know it's gonna be bad, just by certain little cues that you've seen previously that you starting to see repeat in this game. That's why I can look at something like 1348 and it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna waste my money on this because I just know it's gonna be slop. And I'm only like, because you paying for it, you giving them money who worked on this, and you're basically, in my opinion, rewarding bad behavior. You're rewarding them for making a bad game. And I understand people still worked on it, so technically they did work to create it, but what exactly did they make? Was it subpar or was it an incredible piece of art? But if you begin too much slop, well, you're not going to sit there and pay for it just to be sure that it's slop. Sometimes you're pleasantly surprised. Other times, like, you was right on the money about it. Anyway, that's just my quick thoughts. I can, I think most people can, who are level-headed, can form their own opinions about certain things that they see and judge whether or not it's worth you still trying it out to see if you enjoy it on some level. Other times, you're just like, yeah, I'm not bothering with that. It works on the other flip side too, where I never play Stray, I never play Splatoon, but there's like I can still understand. Oh, these are good games for a reason. Even though I never played it, I don't need to. I can just see from myself that, yeah, this seems like the kind of thing that's going to make a whole lot of money. It works that way too. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you all next time. And let me know, is there a game you was pleasantly surprised that it did as well, even though you had your doubts, or did you guess right that it was terrible? Oh, I know what the game I was telling them about it being just so trash I didn't bother to pay for it, was the Suicide Squad game. It's like, yeah, I knew it was going to be terrible just by the gameplay mechanics that I've seen and the articles that I've read, things circling around it. It's like, yeah, not worth your money. And you will be right. Sometimes you can be wrong too. But, if you're proven wrong and it actually turned out better than you thought, then you are well within your right to change your mind and actually pay for the game so you can enjoy it as well. That can happen too. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.